We're here in Real Deal Steel, Sanford, Florida, where they do reproduction bodies and reproduction parts for Tri-5s, Camaros.
55 through 57 Chevy, hardtop sedan convertible, 67, 68, 69 Camaro coupe, 67, 68, 69 Firebird coupe, 70 to 73 Camaro coupe, and we're getting ready to do first generation Camaro and Firebird convertibles. We'll be expanding the second gen cars into Firebirds too and later Camaros. And then we also do the 66 and 67 Chevy too. And they're all licensed by G.
And this is Joe. You're one of the owners of
Yes, sir.
Real Deal Steel?
Yeah. My business partner Randy is off at the Mecum auction today having fun and left the rest of us today. So.
We found you on the internet and through word of mouth, through friends that are doing restoration. We're here today. We're buying 2 doors for a convertible that we're doing a restoration on. One of the questions we talked about a little bit earlier is just the doors themselves, since they're new, we're going to put them on the car. You recommended stripping the outside, the coating off of it.
Yeah, if you look at this car, a lot of the exterior panels on this car are black EDP, E-coat, which is electronically deposited paint, which is an excellent rust inhibitor and excellent coating, but it's not really a very good coating to trust and go over the top of with your body work paint. So, at least on the exterior side, not on the inside, not on door jambs, but on the exterior panels, where you're going to put a $30,000 paint job, it's always a good idea to either media blast it or use your DA with some heavy grit, 36 grit paper, knock it down to bare metal, and then use your own epoxy primer. The reason we say that is we often get panels in where it'll look like the gun they use to paint the paint spit, so it's got some little bumps. Well, you start digging at those bumps and you find out that it's actually surface rust that started underneath the E-coat, because where they E-coat these parts, it's very humid, just like it is in Florida overseas. So we don't trust it. You could probably get away with it, but we would hate for somebody to do a high-dollar paint job and then have it fail because they didn't take the 20 minutes to
Strip it down.
strip a panel down,
Okay.
and then use your own epoxy.
So another thing we talked about, which I think is important for everyone to know, we're buying brand new doors. And just because we're buying brand new doors, we can't just bolt them on and expect them to be perfect, right?
We just recently printed a parts catalog, and that's one of the things that we said. We said, are Real Deal Steel's parts perfect? No, and we explain why. And we say, are Real Deal Steel's bodies perfect? No, and we explain why. We get so many customers on bodies and parts that have talked to other distributors of similar parts or the same parts, and the distributor has never installed that part. They don't even, maybe they've never even seen the part. They just, they buy something in a box for $1 and sell it for $2. We actually have used and installed almost every single part that we sell. So we know the pitfalls, we know the good, the bad, and the ugly of all these parts, so we're more than willing to share it. I'll have people call and they'll ask about a part, and they almost think I'm trying to talk them out of buying it.
Right.
Because I'll tell them what they're going to have to do to get it to fit their car properly. And very often it's not real difficult. It's fairly simple, like the things I explained to you on those doors.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little more involved. 55 Chevy quarter panels, for example, the tooling on the 55 quarter panels isn't as good as it is on the 57. So there's quite a few things that you have to watch out for when installing these. Is it better than what a guy currently has on his car? Always. Because most of the time a guy's got a panel that has been hit in 30 places, or it's been repaired 10 times, or it's rotted up to the belt line.
Right.
So, but they do require, most of the panels do require some finesse and some work, and we're more than willing to share that information with everybody. We actually have some footnotes on those parts in our catalog, and then on our website we have bullet points that say, here's what we've experienced putting these parts on.
And that's actually one of the things, it's one of the reasons we're here, as opposed to using other companies. When I was going through the catalog, I did see that. And there were several tips as far as fitting the doors, and some of the other things you were saying.
Yep.
And I think that's important for everybody to know, because if you just buy a brand new door, you can't just bolt it on and paint it and move on. There's a lot of fitment issues with these old doors, and I think that's great to pass that on.
I would much rather, I like to sell people parts, I like to sell you guys parts, but I would much rather not sell you the part than have you call me and say, I can't deal with it. This doesn't fit in my car. How do I make this work? And you never really know who you're dealing with. You're dealing with a guy that has worked on cars all his life and is very skilled, or are you dealing with a guy that has never done bodywork before? He's got his Eastwood catalog and his Eastwood welder, and he's looking at Ron Covell's articles out of a book and trying to do it himself for the first time. He's going to get very frustrated.
Yes.
So you got a whole gamut of skills. So I'd rather tell a customer, here's what you're going to have to deal with. And a lot of times you get somebody that knows this, and they go, yeah, I know. I'm going to have to, it's a repro part. I'm going to have to work with it a little bit. And then you get some people that are like, wow, I didn't know that. I figured I would take this part out of the box, paint it, and it would fall onto my car. It's just not true.
Right. I haven't seen many other companies advertise that or put that out there. So
No.
I think that's huge.
No, that's one of the reasons we did it, is because so many of our competitors and suppliers, either because they don't know how, that they've never installed the part, or they feel bad telling a person about the negative aspects of a part because they want to make the sale, which is unfortunate.
You do the reproduction body. You can have these bodies delivered. Can they be delivered to someone's residence?
You can, but it costs a lot extra. It's usually a couple, $250 extra residential delivery fee, and it's difficult because these bodies are on a 13 by 7 foot wooden skid. We don't crate them because we don't want to have to upcharge people. We don't charge people, the customer, to bolt the body to our skid and get it ready to ship. Crating fees, some companies charge a $600-800 crating fee. We don't do that. We don't charge any crating fee.
Okay.
Our bodies are bolted to the skid, and then they go in a 28-foot pup trailer with a secure freight divider. But the problem is when you get, if you try to unload this in your driveway, unless you've got 5 muscle-bound neighbors, wrestling it off the deck height tractor trailer is difficult. We recommend that you take delivery of a body at a business location, unless you're willing to pay the upcharge and you are prepared to. Some people manage to get a forklift at their residence, or they manage to get 5 guys to help them. Sure.
So 5 guys probably could manhandle this and get it off the truck?
This on the skid probably only weighs about 750 pounds. So it's not real heavy.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it looks heavier than it actually is.
You'd be surprised how light these bodies are before you put seam sealer, undercoating, glass, all those pieces in them. The bodies are fairly lightweight until you load them up with all the parts.
So let's say I just want to start from scratch and get things from you. Build a car. I buy a body. You do sell frames.
We do.
So if I were to get a complete car from you and start that way, how is that titled? How do I register? What does it look like when you do that?
Good question, and probably one of the most commonly asked questions that we get. Probably 70-80% of our customers have an existing rust bucket, if you will, that they've purchased and they've attempted to restore, or they've got it home and they look at it and they go,
too much.
I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
So they already have basically a parts car with the paperwork and the VIN and everything, which for an individual at home in their garage to replace an existing body with one of our bodies and switch the stuff over, no harm, no foul, nobody's going to care. Shops, garages, restoration shops, collision shops should not make a practice of doing that, because you're going to be looked at by the DMV in your state as a chop shop. So, but well over half of our people already have an existing car
it's just too far
that they already have to pay for. If you don't, the process is fairly easy. On the top center of our homepage on our website, the SEMA Action Network a few years ago worked with all the states. Almost every state now will allow you to register, title one of these cars as the year it represents. So you took this finished car, the state of Florida, and they inspected it, and you say this is a 55 Chevy. They would issue you a title and a VIN that says 55 Chevy or 55 Chevy replica. It won't say kit car, it won't say built for parts. Now the VIN won't look like an original 55 Chevy VIN. It's going to be an FLA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or whatever your state is.
Okay.
So that process is fairly easy. It is. Yeah, okay. People get a little nervous and scared about that, but it's really the easiest part of the whole process.
And it says it's a 55 Chevy. And is there a VIN that ever gets attached to the car at that point?
Some states will issue you a tag. Some states just give you the number and you make your own tag.
Oh.
California, for example, they have a barcode label. It's a sticker. It's about this big. That has a barcode and all the information on the car that you stick on the car somewhere. Yeah.
Does Florida do anything like that?
I don't believe so. I believe Florida is just a tag, and I don't recall if they give you the tag, but it's a process in Florida is very easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I saw in your catalog that is another reason we're here is you said that your metal's thicker than some of the competitors and some of the other aftermarket parts out there.
Yes and no. We have worked with the overseas supplier whom I knew from my days when I worked for Eckler's in Classic Chevy in Titusville. I worked there 23 years before we started this.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I got to know some of the suppliers, and one of the suppliers in particular, and I tried to impress upon them early on when I was still at Eckler's that some of their parts needed to be improved, they needed to change the gauge of the metal. And then when we started Real Deal Steel, and I started to travel overseas to meet with them, I started to really push them as far as making improvements on parts. They showed me the sample part that they had used, and the part was either so rusty that they had to kind of make up an area that was missing and they did it wrong, or they used a part, 57 Chevy top cow panels, actually, the part they used was hit, and it was bent, and they built the part bent. And I pointed that out to them. I said, you need to fix this, and they did. Probably about 100 total things over the years that have changed as a result of us asking them to. The overseas parts have a reputation amongst enthusiasts as being cheap and flimsy.
Right. Okay.
And I said, and the reason is most of the parts that are stamped overseas are stamped with high-strength automotive steel, but it's 19 or 20 gauge instead of 18 gauge.
Okay.
It's just
and the
because
higher the
that's
numbers, the thinner.
correct.
Right? Okay.
Correct. Which is what they use in modern cars. And the reason they do it is because nobody's ever told them to do it any other way. Because that's what is used in Japan. So the world basically uses Japan sheet steel. So Hondas, Toyotas, reproduction parts for old cars all uses that same sheet steel. Well, that sheet steel is 19 and 20 gauge, which is thinner than original. We've managed to talk them into changing quite a few of the parts. Doors for all the body styles, quarter panels for 57, front fenders for 57s, all the rocker panels, all the front fenders on the Tri-5 Chevys anyway. We've had them change all that, and you'd be amazed. It's only pennies, literally pennies, to make a part out of 18. Yes, it requires, you can use the same tooling that's already been developed to manufacture the parts. It's just they have to set the tool up a little bit differently. But it's very simple. There's no real issue in making it correct versus making it lighter weight. Now, some of the factory groups that our main factory group deals with don't want to deal with it. So quarter panels, some of the quarter panels, like 55 quarter panels, they've been unwilling to change to 8. So they're still 19 to 20 gauge.
Okay.
Hoods, they haven't been willing to change those. Deck lids, they haven't been willing to change those. But quite a few of the parts, they've been very proactive in listening to what you're telling them. And matter of fact, interesting story, the way we found out that the doors had been changed to 18 gauge from 20 gauge was Randy and I were out here in the shop. This has been about 7 years ago, we were building a hardtop on our fixture here. And I've been over to pick up a door out of a box. Am I getting old, Randy? Or is this door like got lead in the bottom of it? He came over and he said, holy crap, this door is really heavy. Turns out, we measured it. They had changed it to 18 gauge. We had asked them to.
Okay.
They hadn't told us that they had. And all of a sudden, we're getting 18 gauge doors, which is great. Oh, huge.
Okay.
And it makes a big difference to the end user, too, when you're doing body work. Because if you try to deal with fixing a 20 gauge panel versus an 18 gauge panel, it's night and day. An 18 gauge panel maintains its rigidity and shape. 20 gauge panel is wiggling all over the place, especially you have to weld on it. Start weld on it, it's all over the place.
It's warped, and then you're back to square one with a warped panel. That's
one of the good things about the sheet metal that we use to build our first generation Camaro bodies is we use all Autometal Direct quarter panels, rib skins, rear body panels, deck lids, doors. They, years ago, saw the viability of using 18 gauge, and so all their stuff is 18. So our Camaros are always all 18 gauge, which is good.
Let's say someone that's watching this video decides to order a body, order parts from you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to take phone calls and help them with technical problems or questions that they would have? So.
All the time. We probably get 5 or 8 tech phone calls and emails a day, and Many times it's from people that haven't even bought parts from us. They bought them somewhere else, or yeah. And the unfortunate thing about our industry growing like it has, there's a lot of big box stores that sell parts now. When you call them, my business partner likes to say, you don't get very often. You don't get somebody on the phone. You can't reach somebody that has actually touched and worked on one of these cars. You get a person that was selling cell phones at the mall yesterday. Now they're selling old Chevy parts,
Right.
which is extreme, but it's true. I mean, very often you don't have knowledgeable people answering the phone. So we very often will get calls from customers of competitors that have gotten so frustrated that they call us and they say, hey, Joe, I'm having this trouble, I'm having that trouble. Can you help? We're always willing to help.
So not even
within
willing
reason.
to help your own customers, you're helping people that haven't bought anything yet.
It doesn't take that much time. It's not that hard. You know, we have the knowledge to be able to help somebody, and it very often creates a new customer and somebody that's having an easier time building their car.
Well, I appreciate your time and
Yes, sir.
talking to us and answering our questions.
Good to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too. So
All right.
I'm sure we'll be in touch and use a lot more of your parts.
Happy to help.
Please follow us for part 2, where we get a behind the scenes look at some of the cars being built. And special thanks to Joe for your time and hospitality. We really did enjoy our visit. Please give us a thumbs up and a like if you like this content, and if you would like to see more videos like this, please leave a message down below.